Tonight's episode, part 2 of the interview with William Morgan, CAJI member. We have infiltrated the lodge, folks. Hear it yourself from the lips of a 32nd degree Freemason of the Scottish Rite of the Southern Jurisdiction.
This is what they don't want revealed more than anything else. You can stand in a particular position, you can hold your arms in a particular position, you can speak certain words, the widow's son, traveling man, keywords and phrases that will let this judge know that you are a Mason. And you can almost guarantee that he is a Mason too, or else he wouldn't have been able to lock down a lasting career in the judiciary.
That's correct. And that would explain why some people just don't seem to ever get prosecuted for anything, and others who may commit the same crime or a much lesser offense seem to be inordinately punished, given such a heavy burden of punishment, while others who have done the same thing receive either nothing or a pat on the wrist.
Well, brothers look out for each other. It's just the way the system works. It's a buddy system. It's a you scratch my back, I scratch yours. As a matter of fact, in the oath that a Mason swears, he swears that he will uphold and defend a fellow Mason in any problem that he may encounter, treason and murder alone excepted, but they left at their election, which means that even if a fellow Mason is a traitor to his country, we know that could never happen. If he's a traitor to his country, his brother Mason has his own choice whether he wants to turn him in or not. He is not obligated to do so, and obeying the laws of Masonry above the laws of the land, he's probably not even going to consider it.
So, in other words, one way of infiltrating and controlling our society and our government, both on a local, state, and national level, and the military, is for one of the Freemasons to get into a position where he can then appoint or hire Freemasons below him. When people come to apply for that job, who gets the job?
That's self-explanatory. The Mason will get the job every time. Another part of the oath is that you will look out for the interest of your brother Masons in whatever capacity they may be in. In fact, it could probably be construed that not giving the job to a brother Mason would bring serious repercussions if discovered inside the lodge, and may even be a violation of the oath.
There you go, folks. All of you who've been telling me that I'm full of crap and that I don't know what I'm talking about, and that they haven't infiltrated and appointed their members below them and literally taken over all levels of society, both local, state, and federal, and the military, you just heard it from the lips of a 32nd degree Freemason. That is exactly how they do it, and that is exactly what has been done. You have to understand that since this country was conceived and brought into reality, Freemasons have controlled it. And their goal always, from the beginning, was to bring about a one-world totalitarian socialist government. Our forefathers knew full well the foibles of human nature. And this country was described in their own words as the great experiment. And the experiment, folks, was to find out if we truly could be responsible, could rule ourselves, would not give in to the foibles of human nature and give our country and our individual freedoms and rights away. But they knew when they did it that that's exactly what would happen, because they were probably the best at understanding human nature of anyone that I've ever read. And I've read all of their writings and letters and works and the Federalist Papers and everything else that they've done. And they knew full well that this people would give away what they built. And they knew that if we could be responsible, if we would not be apathetic, if we would not cave in to the desires of socialism, to the weaknesses of human nature, that this would have been the New World Order. We have failed, not them. They gave us every chance, folks. So don't get mad at our forefathers. Would you concur with what I've just said?
I couldn't argue with you, and I wouldn't want to start an argument with you, Bill. I have heard higher level Masons refer to the United States in their writings and in person as a Mason nation. It is erected by them. If you look at the signers of the Declaration of Independence, if you look at the forefathers, you'll see who was involved at the very beginning of this thing. And I'm not saying that all our forefathers are bad or evil. They certainly are not. They created the greatest nation ever known to man. But some of them were Illuminati, and there's no denying that. The course that they set us upon was in the end self-defeating for us.
Okay, folks, don't go away. We've got to take our break. I'll be right back with William Morgan after this very short pause. Creedence Clearwater Revival, before you accuse me, you better look at yourself. Boy, does that apply on this program. You Freemasons out there, all members of all the secret societies that are subverting the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, I call them cockroaches. I don't know what the rest of you call them. But that's what they are. They claim to be looking for the light, but every time you'll turn the light on them, they scurry under the sink, run for cover. It occurs to me that I need to tell you folks out there something. This young man who's on this program is a member of the Citizens Agency for Joint Intelligence, and there are literally hundreds of brave men and women all over this country and the world who are gathering information, bringing the truth out into the open. We are all working for freedom. It is the largest and most successful civilian intelligence gathering organization in the world. And our goal is freedom, to preserve freedom in this country, the United States, preserve the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, because it's the last bastion, the last wall between us and freedom, and try to institute freedom in all of the rest of the world. That's our only purpose, our only purpose. We are in support of freedom for all peoples, everywhere. This young man on this show has risked his life to tell you what he's telling you tonight, and if his identity were ever to be discovered, he could be murdered by the secret societies that he is revealing. He is one of my heroes. Most of the people in CAJI who are helping us to do this, most of them working in intense secret, in dangerous situations. We have people who have infiltrated satanic organizations and are feeding us the information on their rituals and who they are and what they're all about. And the instant that they were to be discovered, they would be murdered. You don't seem to understand that this organization that I built, the Citizens Agency for Joint Intelligence, is vital to the freedom of the United States of America and to the world. The governmental intelligence agencies are in the control of the secret societies and are not working on our behalf and never have been, folks. I hope you understand that. Let's go back to Will. You've got something in front of you, and I believe it's a list of Freemasons throughout history that people would recognize their names. And if they don't readily recognize their names, they could go to any reference book and find these names and their biographies in any library. Would you like to tell our listening audience who some of these people are?
Yeah, there's some really names that you'll really recognize here. But before I do, let me thank you, Bill Cooper, for reminding me that my brothers might murder me just for telling the truth. Here's one: Colonel Buzz Aldrin, Simon Bolivar, Omar Bradley, Edmund Burke, Richard Byrd, Kit Carson, Walter Chrysler, Buffalo Bill Cody, Ty Cobb, Winston Churchill. The list just goes on and Gordon Cooper, Edwin Drake, Jack Dempsey, Cecil B. DeMille.
You know, you mentioned Winston Churchill, and one of the things that the listening audience does not know is that not only Winston Churchill was a Freemason, but so was Harry Truman, and so was Mr. Stalin. So when they had their meeting at Yalta, here was 3 33rd degree Freemasons deciding the fate of the world. And for all of you who couldn't figure out why they made the decisions that they made at Yalta that so screwed up the world, now you know. Please continue, Will.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, they should have just held that Yalta meeting in a lodge and been a bit open about it. Okay, here's some more for us. Duke Ellington, Henry Ford, Benjamin Franklin, Clark Gable, John Glenn, Gillette, Richard Gatling, inventor of the Gatling gun, Samuel Gompers, Prince Hall, Manly Palmer. Oh yeah, Joseph Guillotine, who invented the guillotine. We'll be seeing more of that later. Oh boy, there's just simply not time. Edgar Hoover, Sam Houston. Oh.
For those of you who did not understand his reference to, we'll be seeing more of the guillotine later. When the New World Order actually succeeds in taking control of the world, executions will be public, and the secret societies believe in blood atonement. In other words, you can only atone for your wrongdoing by your works or by the shedding of your blood, blood atonement. So in these public executions, there will have to be the maximum amount of blood. Public executions will be held as a object lesson to the rest of the population, not to oppose the New World Order, for it is the most terrible, terrifying experience to see someone literally beheaded, is intended to cow everyone else, and is, in fact, will be, in fact, a ritualistic sacrifice to the god of the secret societies, who we all know now is Lucifer, also known as Satan.
Yeah, you know, Bill, it just dawned on me just what a fun guy you really are. Here's a short list of presidents of the United States who have been Masons: George Washington, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson, James Polk, James Buchanan, Andrew Johnson, James Garfield, William McKinley, Teddy Roosevelt, William Taft, Warren Harding, Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Lyndon Johnson, Gerald Ford, and I also know for a fact that George Bush is a Mason and that Ronald Reagan was made a Mason on sight. Like I said, the list just goes on, and these are not even a partial fraction of a % of the famous Masons that have existed throughout history.
Well, John Wayne was a Freemason, wasn't he?
The Duke was a Freemason, absolutely true.
And, you know, we're not in any way belittling the accomplishments or the contributions to society of any of these people. We just wanted to let you know that this covers all areas of society, all levels of society, all occupations, and that many famous people whom you all recognize have been or are members of these secret societies. Now, many of them are taken in as window dressing. In other words, they don't really know what they're a part of. They're told that it's a fraternal organization existing for the good of the community. And of course, in any organization, if you can get famous celebrities to belong, that's a feather in your cap, because the public, for some reason, thinks that if a celebrity belongs to something, then there can be nothing wrong with it. What sheeple, what total crap. But that's the way people believe.
That's absolutely true. Most of the celebrity names that I mentioned in this list are there just simply as window dressings to give a good appearance to the craft, but some of them absolutely are not. And I'm reading still from this book published by Masonic Publishing Company, and it states that Joseph Smith, founder of the Mormon Church, was absolutely and undeniably a Freemason.
Did you find Giuseppe Mazzini in there?
Yeah, I sure did. I should have done the homework. It's Giuseppe Mazzini, 1805 to 1872, Italian patriot.
He was also one of the best friends and correspondents of Albert Pike, who was the head of World Freemasonry for a while and the head of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry in this country. He established, with others, the Ku Klux Klan, the branch of Freemasonry known as B'nai B'rith, which the ADL operates out of. And the ADL, folks, for those of you who don't know it, are under intense investigation now for spying upon agencies and departments of the United States government and police departments, and actually stealing records and passing them on to the secret societies and to the State of Israel. So you'd really better wake up out there, and don't give me this stuff that it's the Jews, that it's the blacks, that it's this, it's that. It's not. It's not. Ordinary people like you and me, I don't care what their skin color is, I don't care what their religion is, are just like you and me, and all they want to do is live in peace. There are elements and organizations and people